This is David Murdoch, the producer of the piece on the Democratic Republic of the Congo for Bill Moyer's Journal. We went to the Congo to report on the efforts of humanitarian aid workers to help people return to their villages after years of fighting had forced them from their homes. One of the main challenges facing the Congolese and the aid workers trying to assist them is the utter lack of infrastructure. There are about 300 miles of paved roads in this enormous country, the size of Western Europe. In the rainy season, a 50-mile trip can take as many as 2 whole days by car. This is Johnny Zadi, one of the Concern Worldwide workers. It may look like he's walking down a river, but that's actually the main road in this region. This photo was taken during the wet season. The main task facing the Concern workers when we were there was to get food to villages 100 miles deep into the forest. The provisions would have to travel up a dirt road from the town of Dubié to the village of Monge. The surest way to get the food up the road was by bicycle. Bikes are actually the main mode of transportation for goods in many parts of the Congo. Men will spend days, sometimes weeks, pushing bikes along dirt roads, taking goods from village to village. Concern decided to use this method to get food supplies where they needed to go. They paid what was locally considered to be a fair rate, about $15 for 3 days' work. This is Tutu Moke. We met him in Dubié at a gathering of bike transporters and decided to follow him on his 3-day journey. We were struck by his intelligence and charisma and good humor. Eventually, we learned how much he too had suffered during the war. No one we met had escaped the conflict unharmed. This kind of destruction was a common scene along the road. Virtually every village along the way had been destroyed in the fighting, either by army troops or local militias. The people in these villages were caught in the middle, helpless to stop the violence. Many of them fled into the forest and lived there for months. Of the 5 million deaths caused by the fighting, most were due to hunger and disease. While we were there, aid workers were fighting a cholera epidemic. This is Dr. Maya Ann Levan from Doctors Without Borders, the only other aid organization serving this region. She's attending to a mother and child with cholera. Food distributions took place in small villages deep in the woods. Concern tried to space them out so no one would have to travel more than half a day to get their food, something many we spoke with appreciated. Children waiting for food. You'll notice that the child in the foreground has slightly reddish hair. That's a common sign of malnutrition. This is the actual bag that Tutu Moke carried for 3 days on his bike. We followed it to the distribution site to see who would actually end up getting the food he delivered. One of those who received the food Tutu brought was a woman named Nkulu Mujinga, a grandmother and widow who had lost her husband in the war. She told us her greatest hope was for peace, so that she could return to the life she had had before the war. That's what nearly everyone told us. They were grateful for the assistance, but they mostly wanted to return to a day when they could provide for themselves. More than anything, I was struck by the perseverance and strength I saw in the people who lived in this beautiful but troubled country. This is David Murdoch reporting for Bill Moyer's Journal.